Are we ready? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Palatka City Commission meeting. It is June 11th, 2026, and it's 6 p.m. I'm calling the meeting to order, beginning with the invocation led by Commissioner Campbell and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Bourne. Please stand if you're able.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for your mercy. God, we ask as we go forth with this meeting that you give us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to make sound decisions to move this community forward. We ask that you bless every individual that is under the sound of my voice as well within this community. We pray these prayers in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, please join me in the pledge. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Davis? Present. Commissioner Campbell?
Present.
Commissioner Bora?
Present.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Mayor Carrera?
Present. We have quorum. Thank you. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes from May 28th, 2026?
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to public recognitions, presentations in the Spotlight Department of the Quarter. Mr. White.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. It is with great pleasure that we announce the Streets Department as a Department of the Quarter. The City of Palatka Streets Department is housed under the Public Works umbrella and is overseen by Daniel Nicholson, Superintendent. Other staff members include Ben Parrish, Supervisor, Terrence Buford, Douglas Johnson, Laborer, Andrew Powell, Equipment Operator. Over the past several months, the Street Department has made significant progress in improving the city's infrastructure, appearance, and safety. Recent accomplishments include a complete cleanup of the bridge and walkway areas, removing approximately 30 bags of trash, as well as the cleaning and edging of the nearly 10 miles of sidewalks and gutters throughout the city. Crews have also trimmed and lifted trees and brush along pathways at the riverfront and are continuing work at the Brunson House and Booker Park. In support of public safety, they are actively lifting low-hanging tree limbs citywide to meet FDOT clearance standards and improve roadway visibility. Improvements have also been completed along the bike path to Highway 17, where vegetation had been cleared and ongoing brush cutting efforts are creating a safer and more inviting space for residents and visitors alike. Additionally, the Street Department addressed a long-standing drainage issue in the James A. Long community by removing a problematic drain, cleaning and flushing the drainage trench, and replacing missing grates to restore proper functionality. These efforts reflect the department's continued commitment to maintaining and enhancing the quality, safety, and appearance of the community. Please join me in congratulating our Streets Department as Department of the Quarter.
Got one behind you, Karen.
Wait a minute, Karen, somebody else is coming. Yeah, no, you come on, there's no escape.
Come on up, Joe. Important part of this.
No matter where you put your butt. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, may I say something too?
You can.
While you guys are going back to your seat, I'd like to also commend the department. I had a citizen call about the bikeway. I don't know what it's called, the bike trail that had not been cleaned in a certain area. And I reached out, of course, to Joe, who reached out to his team. And I actually saw one of the neighbors who reported it, and they had glowing remarks about the city's street team. So I just want to personally say thank you as well on their behalf. It's very noticeable, so thank you for all you do.
Good evening, everybody. It's just a pleasure and honor to be here today on behalf of the Northeast Florida League of Cities board member and commissioner. I like to, we every year we pick organizations to provide whoever does community service or wherever. So we have picked the Palatka Athletic League to for a token of appreciation for what they do for our youth every day. They make sure that our youth are properly mentored. The programs that they put on, they invest in our youth on the front end so that they don't have to do it on the back end. So everything you guys do on an everyday basis, we certainly appreciate everything you guys do. So on behalf of the Northeast Florida League of the Cities, you know, present a $500 check to Ms. Lolita Thomas. Thank you.
Just want to say thank you, Commissioner Borum and the League of Cities. The Palatka Police Athletic League really appreciate the support and donations as we continue to serve our youth here in the community. So again, we say thank you.
What's that? Oh, you wanna, guess we'll take a quick.
I'm going to read our proclamations for this evening. The first proclamation is City of Palatka, Palatka Pride Proclamation. All right, please behave, Maggie. Whereas the City of Palatka joins the federal government and countless municipalities across the state of Florida to observe Pride Month in honor of the history of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex LGBTQI+ liberation movement, and to support the rights of all citizens to experience equality and freedom from discrimination. And whereas the rainbow flag is widely recognized as a symbol of pride, inclusion, and support for social movements that advocate for LGBTQI+ people in society. And whereas all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, LGBTQ+ individuals have had a measurable impact to the cultural, civic, and economic success of our country. And whereas the City of Palatka is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equality for LGBTQI+ people in our diverse community, and whereas while society at large increasingly supports LGBTQI+ equality, it is essential to acknowledge that the need for education and awareness remains vital to end discrimination and prejudice. And whereas this nation was founded on the principle that every individual has infinite dignity and worth, and the mayor and the city commission call upon the people of the city to embrace this principle and work to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists. And whereas celebrating Pride Month influences awareness and provides support and advocacy for the City of Palatka's LGBTQI+ community as an opportunity to act and engage in dialogue to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equal rights. Now therefore, I, Roberta M. Correa, Mayor of the City of Palatka, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, hereby endorse and proclaim the month of June 2025 as Pride Month in support of the LGBTQI+ community. We urge our citizens to recognize all LGBTQI+ residents whose influential and lasting contributions to our neighborhoods make the City of Palatka a vibrant community in which to live, work, and visit, and in celebration of the pride that powers the movement of LGBTQI+ rights. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand caused to be affixed the official seal of the City of Palatka, Florida, this 11th day of June, in the year of our Lord 2026. Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
A motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. And if you want to say a couple of words?
I would, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Growing up, part of the LGBTQ community here in hyper-Christian, Republican-red Putnam County was no picnic. I was bullied in school. I remember a kid saying he would get queer cooties from me and my friends if he got too close to us, having to take issues of physical bullying that my friends experienced to the resource officer, and feeling like the community here and my community in Interlochen did not want me, period. I never would have bet money that anywhere in Putnam County would ever have pride and celebrate with us. But here we are again. Not the first time. Here we are again. In recent years, the onslaught of attacks on the trans community specifically has caused two of my friends and Putnam County residents to flee the state of Florida. One going out of state and the other so scared that they fled out of the country. The pin I wear tonight is to signify their presence with me in spirit. These are terrifying times for many of us in the LGBTQ community across this nation and in this community specifically. In my opinion, this Pride Proclamation is more than a simple piece of paper or a vote. To me, it means more. To me, this is a proclamation that means y'all really does mean all here. We are welcome here in Palatka. I thank you all for taking a stand with us, with me and my brothers and sisters, all of us, the wide spectrum of people that encompass the LGBTQ community. You are saying we are welcome here and that you are proud to call us your neighbors. We sure are proud of Palatka for coming so far. Thank you for your allyship in these uncertain times. Our community will not forget your vote tonight. I thank you.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's our PIO?
Our next proclamation is for the Juneteenth proclamation. Whereas the Emancipation Proclamation, formally issued on January 1st, 1863, by President Abraham Lincoln, signified a pivotal decree declaring the freedom of enslaved Africans within the Confederate States of America, and whereas it is duly noted that due to the inherent limitations in communication infrastructure, the dissemination of the Emancipation Proclamation was not uniformly expeditiously, thereby resulting in a delayed awareness of emancipatory measures in certain remote regions of the Confederate States, and a broader recognition of the abolition of slavery awaited the conclusion of the American Civil War. And whereas the date of June 19, 1865 marks a historic juncture when Union General Gordon Granger's arrival in Galveston, Texas, heralds the pronouncement of emancipation in accordance with the Emancipation Proclamation, thereby fostering a seminal moment in the annals of American history. And whereas the term Juneteenth, a linguistic amalgamation of June and 19th, has since been embraced to denote the significant historical milestone commemorating the formal cessation of slavery in Texas and throughout the Confederate States. And whereas commencing on January 1st, 1980, numerous states and municipalities across the United States have avowed Juneteenth as a sanctioned occasion, thereby recognizing its profound historical import and venerating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. And whereas Juneteenth holds national and international acclaim as a day of reverence devoted to honoring the cessation of slavery in the United States and extolling the diverse cultural heritage and valuable contributions and remarkable achievements of African Americans, and whereas the City of Palatka formally bestowed official recognition upon Juneteenth as a municipal holiday in 2020, thereby affording all denizens the opportunity for erudition and introspection, a jubilant commemoration of the indelible imprint of African Americans upon the fabric of Palatka and the nation. And whereas Juneteenth serves an enduring reminder of the ongoing quest for liberty and equity, beckoning all citizens to reaffirm their steadfast commitment to the ideals of justice and equality. Now therefore, I, Roberto M. Correa, Mayor of the City of Palatka, Florida, in conjunction with the esteemed members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2026 as Juneteenth in the City of Palatka, and do earnestly implore all inhabitants to partake in the array of commemorative events orchestrating homage to this momentous occasion, thereby collectively celebrating the cherished tenets of freedom and equality. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Those of you that are here to receive the proclamation, if you please come up.
Commissioners, on behalf of the proclamation that was given to us for Juneteenth, the statement, "We the people," is truly inclusive and a time that we justly needed in this climate that we live in. No one is free unless we all are, to be who we are, whose we are, when we are. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor and Commissioners, I'm going to ask Ms. Pierre to come to the podium. She has some items for you and would like to give you an update.
Okay, greetings, everybody. We'll just take, while you're passing that out, I'll start with the status of the audit in general. So the financial and compliance audit is progressing smoothly. The auditors recently concluded their on-site field work. They collaboratively worked with the city and the gas authority. They're currently finalizing closing audit procedures and have successfully completed the agreed upon procedures for the municipal golf operations and submitted a draft of the CRA audit report. And that's just the overall status of the audit. So before you, you have two documents. One is just an overview of what will be a finding that will be on the audit report. And just to give you, one is the 2 slides per page, and then the other is just so you could see the communications between the city and the FDEP. So just to identify what is the finding, what is the problem. So we received an email, this happened back in January. Well, I want to say first, the actual incident happened when I was not here with the city. It occurred in 2025 of January. and I joined the city in July 2025. So, but this was brought to my attention on January 30th, 2026, where I received an email from the FDEP, Florida Department of Environmental Protection, that a loan disbursement request was denied. And the reason it was denied, it was $1,026,880 change order that could not be approved because the change order was not competitively bid. The change orders above 10% of the original contract are considered allowable. However, this $1,026,880 is actually 120% above the original contract. The original contract amount was $856,700. I want to say at the time that the change order was approved, we went through all of our internal policies, all of our internal procedures were followed. It was approved and presented under the premise that this was an emergency situation. So, so I want to just get that out of the air there. And just to give you a background of the project in itself, it was awarded back in 2023 to SGS Contracting Service, and the original contract amount, that $856,700. And just to provide more detail, more context about what happened, they were awarded the contract, they started the work, and it was discovered that the valves between the water tanks were found to be non-operational during construction. The inoperable valves impacted phasing and operational flexibility. And just to verify that, I reached out to Mr. Sean Bruno, our water treatment plant superintendent, and he confirmed to me that the emergency change was crucial in getting the water tanks back online. And it was done as an emergency item for the fact that there was no time to spare. The new valves had a long lead time, and the city was only able to store less than 25% of their demand for ground storage tank. So if anything major, like a major line break or a fire occurred, it would completely deplete the water in a matter of hours. So this was approved under the premise that it was considered an emergency. So Hanson was the engineer that was assisting us with this process, and they helped to explain the situation to the state. However, the state disagreed with our point of view of looking at this as an emergency. They didn't consider it an emergency, and that's the reason why these funds are not and will not be covered under the loan. It's a loan. It's a low interest loan. It's not necessarily a grant, but it is a low interest loan that is offered to small cities. So just to kind of give you the background of that. So the real issue is a compliance issue, that we did not follow the grant agreement in terms of going for a competitive bid for a change order that is above the 10%. So this will appear as an audit finding, and it's being brought before you because when this did occur, I emailed my supervisor to make the supervisor aware and also provided recommendations on how to resolve the issue. And I just don't know if it was communicated to you or not, whether email or phone call or any form of communication. So this is just to ensure that hopefully you were made aware at that time, but the fact that it's going to show up on the audit report, we felt the urgent need to communicate this to you.
So Mayor and Commissioners, one of the things that we wanted to get done in our review of the audit, we felt that this was very important to be able to get to you and discuss. One, if you hadn't been notified of it previously, that you would be notified and then have the opportunity to get the background. So that's why Ms. Pierre provided the background information to you and then wanted to go ahead and get it to you so you are aware and knew about it, opposed to receiving it and seeing it for the first time and not having any discussion. So that's why that's being provided to you today with not only the information for the finding, but the background to it as well.
Thank you. I can't speak for the other commissioners, obviously, but this is my first time seeing this and being made aware. And I want to thank you for proactively bringing this to us before we see the audit. My question is just, what is the bottom line impact to the city other than being out of compliance and it being an audit finding? And is there a financial impact? Because I believe you made a statement about the low-interest loan, and I did not really get the context of that. So what are the impacts, other than compliance, being out of compliance, and any other, especially a financial impact?
Okay, the financial impact is the $1,026,880, which will be, because we're not receiving loan proceeds for that cost, it has to come from somewhere. So it's going to come from a contingency reserve balance on our Fund 041. That's our utility fund.
Thank you. And what is that current balance?
Because this happened at the end of 9/30/2025, I'm referring to the balance at that time, and it was 1.7 million.
Okay.
Are you asking what is the balance of the fund?
I was asking, what is the balance of the fund? And so, yes, and since you said you were coming from the fiscal year in which it happened, again, what is the impact and where does that leave us today in our fund reserves?
Because the funds do have a healthy reserve, this will not have a huge impact. The exact dollar amount I don't have before me, but I can certainly provide that information to you.
Please, and if, I don't know if you remember the number off the top of your head, since you may not have it with you, but a percentage impact would certainly give us a better perspective than a dollar impact. So $1 million out of 15 million would have a different impact of $1 million out of 5. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
All right, Mayor and Commissioners, another item I've placed before you. I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
have one question. Ms. Pierre stated that we had went through all of our in-house protocol. So what would have been the next step regarding protocol? And how can we avoid this from being something that comes in the future?
So the position that we have called the grant administrator, that person has the responsibility of ensuring that all of our steps are in compliance with the grant. So obviously, the grant administrator at that time was new and didn't have, may have not been included in the line of communication, but since then, our newly hired grant administrator is certainly on top of things and ensuring that he's familiar with the grants, he's in communication with our grantor, and for each change or anything we're doing within the grant that is outside or different from the norm, he is being proactive and communicating with the grantor. And on top of that, anytime a change order or anything comes across finance, we are also being proactive and checking to make sure we're following all of our guidelines that are listed in the grant. Each grant has different guidelines, so.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Bourne was actually.
So this was, I understand that this was completed in 2025, September 2025, the project?
Not the project, but the change order. The change order was approved January 2025. And it was presented, I don't know I know that I tried to look through the minutes to find the exact meeting date, but it was,
wasn't any.
I'm sorry?
I'm just saying we didn't.
Right.
remember the
Okay.
discussion.
So the project started in 2023 though, correct? That's
The project started in 2023, and while they were doing the project, they discovered the valves were inoperable. And the valves being inoperable, based on information, oh, sorry.
I think I remember that project, yeah. But the state did not deem that that was an emergency.
That is correct.
So that's costing us additional 800 and so thousand.
A
No,
million, a
million.
million, $1,026,880.
We need to address that piece of it, because that's $1 million decision there that was made.
It's already done.
Yes, when it was deemed that it was an emergency, but on our end, but the state don't see it as an emergency, so that decision cost us $1 million.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
I have a question. Ms. Pierre, you did mention that you gave some recommendations to your supervisor at that time that didn't come to us. Would you be willing to share what was those recommendations?
Yes, included in your packet, I provided the email that was sent at the time that this was brought to my attention. My recommendation was to, number one, request the reimbursement up to the allowable amount, which was $331,000. Number two was to find other sources of funding for this project equal to the change order amount. Number three, I hesitate to say.
I actually already searched my email and I never got anything.
Number three was a legal recourse that I suggested, but I'll just leave it at that. Thank you,
All right.
and we could still
I just want
try
to know
that.
if you wanted to put it out there. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I think we're all set with that topic.
Okay, the next item I have placed before you is the currently open job vacancies within the city. I wanted to bring that to your attention. As you know, with the new property tax decisions that we have that's going to be facing us. I wanted you all to be able to have a discussion and possibly provide some direction on us moving forward as it stands currently. You see the open positions currently soon to be projected retirements as of July 1, and then the cost associated to each is on that separate sheet. And I'm willing to answer any questions you have.
Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
Clarification, Chief Shaw. So these are the vacancies that we have and the projected vacancies effective July 1. For these vacancies, are they funded in the current budget?
Yes, they are. They are all funded in the current budget.
For the current vacancies, I want to know, why are they vacant? Have we put out to bid? I see it's a potential job freeze. I'm not following. Why are they not filled, and why is this coming to the commission if it's budgeted and approved? So just want to understand.
I think, though, it's more for going into this next budget year to give
Thank
it
you. Okay.
consideration.
That was my question.
That's my interpretation, that
Okay,
we're looking
got
at it for the future
Okay.
issues that may come up
Okay.
in terms of the funding we may or may not have.
Okay, I
Correct.
understand. So then that leads me to, and not necessarily for this meeting, but ensuring in our next budget workshop that we understand the impact if we cannot accommodate these salaries. So that's, again, not for tonight, but in that next budget workshop.
Yes, ma'am.
Understanding the impact on the city and where we may have to make some changes to accommodate necessary positions.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I think she hit it on the latter part of her statement with regards to, when we talk about impact, we not only talk about the impact to the budget, but we also talk about the public safety and well-being of our citizens as well. So as we have this conversation, let's be mindful, because some of the things that I see listed, I would not want to take away when it comes down to the public safety in our community. So I would like to just strongly suggest, as we move forward, that the commission not only look at the budget, but look at the holistic picture, which is public safety and the well-being of our citizens.
I agree. We were going to have to take a deep look at the core services, and then beyond that, what we may be able to deal with. So that's part of our budget conversation ongoing, and we will have to seriously look at all of this.
Well, I want to make a point. I asked Chief to bring this to our attention so we'll have situational awareness going forward and being forward thinking, because we know we may have to make some drastic changes, maybe some cuts, tightening up the belt of our budget. And so when you look at what's presented to us, it's $651,000, and that's your salaries, not including benefits. So that could go upwards to $1 million with these open positions. Now, you ask yourself this question: would you rather leave these positions open and we have this room to work with, or later on have to come back and make cuts? So, yeah, when we're talking about the budget, I think this is a good time to evaluate the importance in prioritizing the positions that we feel. All the positions are important, but it's just like if you're at home, you decide if you're going to pay the light bill or you're going to pay a cable bill. So I think just being responsible, we should look at it that way. That's all. So situational awareness is why I asked the Chief to present this to us so we would know. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Point, if I may, we requested an operational audit and a personnel audit. I don't know where we are, and I know, Mr. White, you're new in your position, but again, if that's some information you can bring to the budget workshop, because there's more to evaluate than just this list of open positions. We really need to look at all of our positions in light of potential tax income changes for the city, and to just make sure we're being effective in using our dollars effectively for key positions first, to Commissioner Campbell's point, community safety, public safety first. But I think we need to look at this globally at this time because of the potential impact of the vote on taxes that could impact our income.
Yes, ma'am. We will take that and we will run with it, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Thank you. Do you have anything else?
I do have one more item.
Okay.
I think we provided you a couple of weeks ago with the projects list, and you had opportunity to see where we were with completions on the projects list. But I wanted to take this opportunity to just speak on several projects that has been completed. And what I realized is that when I gave you the projects list, you had all projects that were currently being worked on, and we didn't get a chance to highlight those completed projects. So I wanted to be able to just take a minute to talk about some of the projects that's been completed within this year, and to, with that, discuss the last item that I think we could celebrate for completion. The first project was the police and fire department parking lot, was just completed recently. It's at 100% complete. The Bronson Mulholland, the Tillman House, the Palm Bowl Park, Shawbuck Park, Jenkins, River Street Wall, Pride of Palatka 2, roadway improvements, Oaks, airport access control gates, airport FDOT, and the fire station wind traffic. And finally, I know you guys have been waiting to hear. I guess you're notified today, but the Public Works facility is 100% complete. And Mayor and Commissioners, that's all for my report.
Thank you.
I can sleep at night knowing they don't have to.
I'm sure people
Facility.
in that neighborhood can sleep better at night without trucks going out the crack of dawn too, so that's a good thing.
And it didn't cost us $7 million. It was presented.
Good excuse. I'm going to open the floor to public comments. These are public comments for items not specified or listed on the agenda. I do have one yellow card. You have 3 minutes. Please give your name and city and town of residence. Pam Garris. Yep. Okay, come up, Ms. Kitchens.
Elizabeth Kitchens, Palatka, Florida. I just want to bring something to your attention. You probably already know, but I'm not sure. I have been following with close attention the landscape improvements downtown. They're looking good. I was horrified, aghast, when I went down a couple of days ago, and the white concrete now runs from the sidewalks to the curb. The grassy areas are gone. Little tiny places for the few shrubs are going to be down there, which is good, but no grassy areas between the sidewalks and the curbs. Well, okay, so that's downtown, that's bad enough. Then I saw it on side streets. The grassy area between the curb and the sidewalk is now filled in with white concrete. Addressing global warming, which is a natural phenomenon, but it is enhanced by people. One of the major contributors to global warming is pavement. Asphalt parking lots, concrete sidewalks and parking lots, and solar panel farms, which all leave, and of course the devastation of the rainforest, which leaves black dirt. All of that stuff reflects the sun's heat back into the atmosphere, can deplete the ozone layer, and increase warming. And forgetting about that part, when you walk downtown, now it's going to be way hotter, and your dogs, the people walking dogs, will walk them on the grass. There's nothing but concrete. I was aghast. Snow like concrete, no green space downtown between the sidewalk and the curbs. And again, I'll say worse, in residential areas, the green space is now filled in with concrete. I think that is terrible, just to let y'all know.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment.
Mayor, before we get into consent, staff would like to pull item B
Okay.
until further notice.
Is there, on to consent agenda, do we have any other items to pull?
There was one that a citizen asked me to pull, and that's 6A
A?
for
Okay.
discussion.
Same. I'd like to pull A, D, and E.
So A, B, D, and E so far?
B is pulled,
Yes. B is-
D, E.
Okay. Excuse me, anybody else? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve all items except A, B, D, and E.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Item A, adopt resolution 2026 R100 granting a special events permit to Lee Hall for its annual End the Violence Day to be held 9/26/2026. Commissioner Barham,
I didn't,
will you
a
pull it for
resident.
somebody? So-
Yes, it was just asked for me to pull it for discussion. I don't,
Okay.
I don't have an issue with it.
Mr. Cutright.
Item A, the Lee Hall Stop the Bosses Day, End the Violence. We met with Mr. Hall, the law enforcement, and myself, when my staff met with Mr. Hall. Actually, the footprint was changed, but I guess the system and server that we had over at Jenkins didn't get it in there. We're actually moving that event to Jenkins, the back of Jenkins facility, utilizing the parking lot for the parking and the side and the back for the event itself. The same day, so that's actually going to be a different footprint. We tried to get it in today when we noticed that it didn't go through the changes, but that is actually, the event itself was vetted with law enforcement and everything. We moved to Jenkins facility, utilizing the parking lot for parking and the event on the side and the back.
The address was changed on the resolution that I had placed on the dais before the meeting. That's why that's
Yeah.
the resolution that was changed. It was because of the address that was changed.
Yeah, and we have it. We
So
have the
you
resolution.
you can look at it and have it.
Go ahead.
So to that point, can you talk to me about lighting at Jenkins?
Yes,
For,
yeah.
I'm assuming that the time is still the same,
Yes.
5 till 9:30 PM. So can we talk about the lighting
Well, the
and
lighting,
visibility?
the Dusty Dunn, usually about 8:30 when he does. He's willing to provide some temporary lighting from the fire department, and also he gonna bring in lighting himself to help cover the footprint to the end of the event itself. But we also have put some little lightings on the side of the building that'll help, but we're gonna need some floodlights and some lighting for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, and just as an FYI, the time changes on the 22nd, which is the week before. So just to consider that it'll start getting darker earlier.
And and we actually
Okay.
took that into consideration when we moved it
I
to
appreciate
make
it.
temporary lighting out there.
Okay. I reserve to come back later.
Go ahead, Commissioner Barton. Do you have something?
No.
Okay. Anybody else?
I do have a question. With regards to the potential overflow parking,
Now, that's a good question. We are hoping that the parking lot holds everything, and then the side street might be accommodation. But we do have some areas in the back that they could park, because they're only using the side of the building and the first part of the back, so we can utilize the grass area we need the park overflow for.
Commissioner Campbell, if you would, we will, I will assign Assistant Chief Newcomb, well, actually, he'll be leaving today, so we'll get with Mr. Cutright as well as Mr. Hall, and we'll talk about overflow parking and additional parking to address that matter. I do know Assistant Chief is saying he can speak to that now.
Yeah.
Mr. Cutright's correct. We had an additional meeting with Mr. Hall, and for public safety concerns and some other concerns, we requested that the event be moved to Jenkins. The parking lot is larger. We're able to ensure safety a little bit better at Jenkins with the fenced-in area with the field. There's no vehicles that will be inside the area of the field, which is where the event's going to take place. We're going to have a relatively large amount of officers there. We're going to have 10 officers there. Mr. Hall is aware of that. He's willing to pay for that level of staff to be on scene. We will have 2 officers on a side-by-side or in a car. Captain Williams is still determining how he wants to handle that part of it for the overflow with parking. The overflow parking is actually going to be partially on Napoleon Street, and then running alongside the sideline of Jenkins. But we'll have those 2 officers that are going to be in that side-by-side or in a vehicle constantly surveilling that to ensure that if people are in the cars, they know to go to the event or basically leave the area, because we don't want anyone hanging out in cars, drinking, doing anything that could lead to problems. We're also going to, for this event, and going to start requesting through the commission for other events when we do our noise variances and our review of Chapter 30 and Chapter 50. When we do a noise variance, we're supposed to have staff come before the commission and request the amount of decibels that can be utilized during the time of events out in the residential areas or in our commercial areas. So for this event, we're actually requesting 80 decibels. 80 decibels sounds like it's not going to be very loud, but it is, because OSHA guidelines say at 85 decibels we should wear ear protection. So that 80 decibels is at the sideline of the property on which the event is at. So it would actually be louder up near the speakers or the concert itself, but we're trying to mitigate some of the noise complaints that we get from our surrounding neighbors, from everyone that's in that immediate area, because no matter where we are, whether it's Blue Crab, Azalea Festival, a block party, it doesn't matter. We get constant complaints from the community. So we're going to start requesting a lower amount of decibels, because without that, we don't have anything to enforce, because nothing was put into play. Yes, sir.
I'm concerned about when you speak to the side of the facility, are you talking about the concrete basketball area?
No, sir, actually on the roadway.
No. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. You took care of the question that I had for the parking. I'm talking about the actual location of where things are gonna be housed.
The block party itself?
Yes, the event itself is, majority of the event is gonna be in the back of Jenkins. And then they're gonna utilize the basketball court for stadium and other stuff for the vendors for the event itself.
As a recommendation, if that is to take place, you're putting the sound closer to the resident's house. If there would be any recommendation for a suggestion, that open space in the back should be utilized for any music or stage.
That's what's
Based-
in the back.
You just said on the side.
No, the vendors gonna be on the side. Vendors,
Okay, I didn't get that understanding, so that's why I wanted to make sure, because on that side, that is the closest to the street and closest to someone's backyard, actually. Again, even with that recommendation, going towards, if it's in the back, going towards the library area of the school as far, because that in the back area is wooded area or close to the train tracks or something like that. That would be the opportune thing to try to deviate the sound as much as possible from the main residential area.
Yes, sir. We can make that adjustment.
Anybody else have anything?
I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner
Well, I
Barton.
think Commissioner Campbell already addressed it as far as projecting the sound toward, away from the residential areas toward the non-residential areas.
So you are saying that the sound will be going towards the woods or
Yes,
track,
yes.
railroad
The
track?
tracks.
Yeah, make sure it
Tracks,
doesn't
the
go
swamp.
toward any residential areas, redirect it
As
toward.
much as possible. Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
I have more of a statement. I'm done with my questions, but I do want to make a statement because I know this is a contentious subject in our community, and I see the posts online, but I want to make my statement about block parties and these events because I will not reply online, but I'd like it to be on the official record in this meeting, is one of the things that's challenging as a commissioner is balancing the desires of the public, and they're varied, and what our responsibilities are as a legislative body. But what's important when we get these kind of requests, that we need to vet not who's bringing it or what the event is, but whether the applicant meets the city's established requirements and legally meet our requirements so that we can mitigate public safety risks. And so we want to make sure everyone in our community has equal treatment under the law, that public safety is in place, and that everybody in our community has community access, regardless as to what the event is, as long as they are law-abiding citizens meeting our requirements. So I just want to say today that I support the right of all community organizations and members to apply for and receive consideration for special event permits. And as a commissioner, my responsibility is to ensure that every event meets the criteria and standards for public safety, security, insurance, compliance, our ordinances, as you're hearing today, that we vet. I do not want to ignore the fact that we've had past incidents that have caused concerns in our community. But they should give us information so that we can, in a stronger position, plan for safety, rather than that to become the sole basis for denying any application. If an applicant satisfies the city's requirements and our public safety professionals determine that risk can be appropriately managed, then I believe every event deserves consideration. So I just want to make that statement in public and acknowledge that I'm well aware, even as a citizen, the things that have happened in the past, but not to judge or cloud our judgment and our rights and responsibilities of people and our responsibility as commissioners. So thank you.
Thank you, and I do appreciate all the effort that's been made to come up with a solution to meet, as Commissioner Davis said, our requirements, but also to still allow people to have that space and time together and have those events. So this is certainly a great solution and compromise, and we'll hopefully see how it goes. I'm going to open the floor to public comments. Ms. Kitchens, you have a card, I do know that.
Allegra Kitchens, Palatka, Florida, and I'd like to commend the Palatka Police Department, Chief Shaw and City Manager Shaw, as well as you commissioners for publicly saying you want to look out for the welfare and well-being and health of our citizens. That is very important, and I am greatly relieved that this is being moved, this block party is being moved to a city facility where it can be monitored and kept in a more contained area by the police department. I think it's wonderful. I am further encouraged by Assistant Chief Newcomb talking about the decibel limit. I would say this: if 85 decibels is designated by OSHA as damaging your hearing, the city's responsibility, I would think, would be to limit the number of decibels inside a facility, inside a festival, if you could, something that doesn't damage people's hearing. However, I guess that's the prerogative of whoever goes to the events. If they want to get their hearing permanently damaged, that's their freedom. However, I am very encouraged by this. I would point out that I agree every citizen should have equal responsibility for doing stuff, but I was taught that your freedom, my freedom, ends at the end of my nose. I don't have the right to damage any of you or anybody else. And what has gone on in the past, and thank God you all changed it, I hope, has been at my house, a mile away from Midtown Shopping Center, I smelled marijuana. Marijuana is an illegal drug under the federal law. It is damaging to babies, humans, and everybody else. And you can argue all day long for recreational. I don't want to hear that argument, period. I'm just saying I don't smoke it, and I don't want to have to smell it in my house and my neighborhood. The other thing is, I don't want my house to be rattled and shaken for 5 hours where I can't do anything but hear the thumping of drums and loud voices. And I commend you all for now you're taking responsibility and you're trying to reel this in, and that's great. I would further ask that you put a moratorium on any party of any kind that involves public sidewalks or public streets unless it's to be held on city property, city parks, riverfront. That way you can contain what goes on. A family gathering, a birthday party of 1,000 or more people, that's not a party. That's a festival. That does not belong in the public. Jenkins area is a good place. The riverfront's great. If people want to have a big thing like that, rent at the river. But I would suggest you put a moratorium on anything that's on private property if it's going to include encumbering city streets or city sidewalks. On city property, that's fine, because you do close streets and stuff. And to do that, and then get an ordinance drawn up by the city attorney stating what you all just said. Protect our welfare, protect our hearing, protect us from marijuana wafting all over the city of Palatka. Put these guidelines in place, and everybody can have their parties, they can do what they want, and we, the citizens, will also be able to have the pursuit of happiness and freedom in our own homes as provided by the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. I thank you for you all being responsible and looking into this, and I especially thank the police department. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment on this item? Yes, I do. Come on, Ms. Garris.
Good evening.
Can you give us your name and city, town, and
Pam
residence?
Garris. I live in the city of Palatka. After 50 years, I'm back. I suggest the denial of permitting for block parties since the occurrence of the shootings and reckless driving through such that have endangered the lives of bystanders in the city of Palatka. People have also been killed. These activities are creating a lawless reputation for the city. We will never reach our full potential as a city to attract citizens who are seeking a safe city. Citizens who will come and contribute to the tax base and move our city forward. Last October, when a permitted block party was in progress on a Saturday night at Midtown Plaza, I was riding by. I couldn't believe what I saw and smelled. It seemed to be a very large gathering with music on a stage and the required police presence. The permitting of an event in a shopping center parking lot made no sense to me. I later learned that the street adjoining had been closed for the event, the ice cream business adjacent to the closed street, and the event had to close due to the congestion caused by this event. Thus, another reason the location of the permitted event was inappropriate. And as Allegra said, I'm glad you're moving it somewhere else. I wonder if you could have it at the fairgrounds, if they would have allowed such there or whatever. When I rolled down my car window to hear what was happening, I smelled a heavy, pervasive smell. It was the smell of marijuana being smoked in a public place. Obviously, it was not the place that medical marijuana would be consumed. It would logically be deducted that this was the illegal smoking of cannabis in a very public place. Someone remarked to me that the smell could be detected as far away as River Street and 13th Street. Marijuana is an illegal drug under federal and Florida law. It was being smoked in a public place. The smoke from the illegal drug was wafting outside the boundaries of the permitted party at Midtown Plaza, Palatka, harming or possibly killing children and animals. As a result, it was endangering the health and welfare of Palatka citizens, domesticated animals, and wildlife. These destructive illegal activities must end in the city of Palatka. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you for your service to the city of Palatka.
Is there anybody else here for public comment? Seeing no one close public comment, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. And we're pulling item B from the agenda. D, adopt resolution 2026 R107, memorandum of understanding for the Newtown Museum.
Thank you, Mayor. I asked for that item to be pulled. I have a couple of questions. And Mr. Cutright, please, thank you. My first question is, I know that the city attorney made some recommendations. Were those recommendations either addressed with the other party and updated in the?
Yes.
Okay. And it went back for review with the attorney?
No. So in the last review, you all assigned me to do the review with Mr. Hill and review the contract. We took the recommendations that Attorney West had, which Mr. Hill had no problem implementing. And we also made some minor other adjustments. The rest of it had been reviewed in its entirety by Attorney West.
Okay, so that takes me then, and maybe I misread, so can you confirm, I have the MOU here. I'd like to understand, I know one of the recommendations that was brought up was about designating the $25,000 because it's a 5-year MOU. And did I see in there the recommended change for the commission to consider that based on budgeting at that time, annually, I think is what I'm trying to ask. Do I see that in the MOU?
For us, the
I don't remember
recommendation for
seeing
the
it.
commissioners to come
So
back
if-
and make changes.
Yeah, if you would look at, here, I'll pull up the MOU. If you'll look at the section for the city's responsibilities, and it says the city with the $25,000 allocation for the Newtown Museum and Cultural Arts Center, the way it's written in the 5-year MOU proposed to us would indicate, if we approve it as it exists, that we're allocating that, we're committing ourselves to doing that for
5 years.
each of the 5 years. I saw a recommendation from the attorney for the commission to be able to consider that each year based on city revenues and to make sure we could accommodate that without obligating ourselves preemptively. So, would you like a page number, or
No,
can someone help me?
So, in hearing what we heard from the commission on
It's
that
page
date,
3. Go ahead, sorry.
in hearing what we heard from the commission on that date, in our conversations, we did not address the cost association. We left that to you all to be able to decide if you wanted to move forward with the allocated amount, or if you were going to be able to reach an agreement to change that amount. And that's part of the MOU. We didn't want to address with changing the amount without you giving the overall approval, because the amount was going to be approved by you all. And that's what our discussion was. Mr. Hill, if you'd like to come up and speak a little bit to us, but that's what our discussion was in our meeting.
Just want some clarification on our commitment.
And I think in light of what may or may not happen, we don't know for certain, I think we have to be a little more cautious about automatically assuming that we can afford $25,000 a year for 5 years.
But that was, with the option in there, which was the annual fundraiser that they were supposed to have would be offsetting, and if they raised more than the amount that they were requesting, then we would get a portion of a percentage of the surplus.
That's correct.
And that's
we
great,
also-
but it's contingent on raising that money.
Well, we also included a clause that allowed for other events to be done at the same mutually agreeable amount until the 25,000 was taken off the calendar as well. But the clause that we put in there for the $25,000 allocation is minimal compared to the commitment that you've made to the ship store and some of the other places that you have without the same consideration. So if you're going to do that, I would say that all similarly situated people should be placed in the same position, as opposed to us being in a position where we're now looking at the lesser amount as the means for which we're doing it, because those other contracts are longer and the allocation is higher, with the risk being higher. We're the only one that's offering a profit share.
So, Mr. Hill, if I can
Go ahead,
continue,
go
if I can still have the floor. I'm not, you're referencing something else. But, and my question is not in comparison to others. I just want to make sure going forward that we're establishing a sustainable mutual agreement between Newtown and the city, especially in light of our current climate, with potentially limited revenues and making sure that we are fiscally responsible. Again, that was my one question. I'm not saying if we can that I don't want to, because I do want the city to have a vested interest in this project. I just want to make sure we're not committing preemptively the city to something that we cannot foresee whether we can do that, and then we're stuck here. So that's number one. The other option is, and I'm glad you brought it up, there is opportunity that you mentioned for other potential fundraisers, but again, I want to understand, what does that look like in terms of requirements from the city for these fundraisers? Because I want to make sure we don't get into a business that we should not be in terms of events. One of the things we're trying to do is make sure our events are hosted by community partners and that the city does not get into the event business at this point. So that was my concern. The other question I have regarding this is, what if we entered into this agreement and the city could not make the $25,000 financial commitment? What are the mitigation, what's the mitigation plan? What's the contingency plan? What happens?
The city has a 60-day out that they can exercise at any time within this contract if they find themselves in financial constraint.
Okay, so I don't see that. I just need to see that in the MOU. I need to see a contingency or, again, some protection for the city. Also, are net proceeds from potential fundraisers defined as expenses minus income?
We use the universal definition.
Okay.
Profits minus expense.
Okay, and who would,
Revenues minus
and
expenses.
I really just want to tighten some things up. Who would approve those expenses? Who's in charge of the event? I'm not saying I disagree. I just see some things I think that need to be tightened up. In 5 years, obviously less than that, this board could look very different. One of the things I've noticed by being in the city is when I go back and look at documents, we have a lot of holes in them. And I think we have the opportunity to make sure we're addressing to protect the city and our partners as much as possible in our documentation so that we don't have any gray areas, holes, or nebulous information. So thanks. I'm done, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner
Go
Davis,
ahead, one second.
in section 8 is the termination clause that you're
Yes,
referring to.
I got it.
And also as a point of
Mr. Harris.
clarity, there is a clause in the contract, in the MOU, that says that all events have to be approved by the city of Palatka, and that the events that are held between the city of Palatka and Newtown, Inc., those events have to be mutually agreeable.
Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
Okay. And the other thing I want to ensure is in terms of the museum and cultural arts center, to make sure we get a clear definition of what constitutes operational for the center.
It's all outlined and it's all specified by language inside of the MOU.
Okay. Hours, and I don't remember, again, if it went back, if that was an item that was brought up. Okay. Okay, I think that is, you know what I think is missing, and you guys can direct me.
Clint,
I will. I just want to make sure you're good.
have the woosah sometimes.
Okay, I just didn't understand the language, body language. I just want to make
It was
sure.
negative.
Well,
I'm trying not to be. I'm just listening.
well, if you have an issue, perhaps someone else can speak on behalf of this
don't-
project,
I'm just
because I'm
listening
getting
to the
concerned.
Go ahead.
My next question is this. I believe what I'm asking for are SOPs and parameters for the museum. I believe that's probably what I'm really asking for, that we don't have. And if that's in process, let me know. But there are some items I want to understand from the museum and the organization of how the museum will operate. Some examples of are, that I guess I'm questioning, we're talking about hours, we're talking about type of volunteers, we're talking about, do we need risk management if the volunteers will be working with children? And again, I know I'm going deeper than this MOU, but I want to make sure we're entering into, because I know this is a new program. It's a new cultural arts center. And I know you guys are working, and there's some good work that has been done, but I really want to make sure the right things are in place from both sides so that we can make sure we're creating and supporting a sustainable operation. Thank you.
So we've identified we went over with staff what the policy limits are. We identified the amounts, we increased those amounts from the original presentation to make sure we dealt specifically with those issues. Museums are low-risk type facilities based upon the way they are. What we're doing at this point is establishing the ability to move forward with the museum, which came at the directive of the commission. In order to put all those other pieces of the puzzle together, those pieces come after. What we're doing now is establishing the foundation of how we establish. When we get into operational hours and all those different pieces, that is the next step of where we are. We are at an early phase, so we are way in the weeds in so many ways of what we're doing as it relates to where we are. What we are creating is the foundational relationship which gets to the establishment of this facility. We don't have any of the things necessary, from the build-out to the exhibits to all those pieces. You are putting all of this together no differently than the way the operational pieces are put together in any of the other joint ventures that the city has in place, whether that's operating the ship store, whether that's operating the water taxis, whether that's operating your contract that you had with the Larimer Arts Center and the Art League in the past. All those pieces to the puzzle are built after you establish the contractual relationship and you have the commitments in place so that you can bring all those things back together and give it all. And there's input because it's a mutual agreement as to how certain aspects are done. We are early in the process, and this is the piece that makes it a reality. From there, you move forward and you move those other pieces into place. But what we've done is given a memorandum of understanding, which allows for there to be movement towards operation of a facility that has already had commitments in place as it related to the $690,000 that came from the state, as well as the ARPA funding and the additional funding that came from the city and the hardening of the facility based upon certain things that were put in place.
Thank you for your response. I will agree to disagree with some of the comparisons you made, though. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Commissioner
I just
Campbell?
want to make a general statement with regards of when statements are being made that we take in consideration. Not everyone's standpoint or stance is the same as us all referencing events. While there are events that the city has put on or anything of that nature, I don't want it to be perceived that, of course, we don't want to get in the event business, but there are events, again, that we just can't steer away from. And when we make open statements regarding the position of the entire commission, that may not necessarily be true. And that's my statement, and it doesn't require.
That's fine. And I want to make a statement that I hope carries out for the rest of the time I'm on this commission. I can only speak for Commissioner Davis. And so if it sounds like I'm making statements for the commission, I want to clarify that I'm not, because I don't have that authority. But thank you for your feedback.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Commissioner Jones.
I just want to ask Ms. West, her position was stated that we know we appointed a chief to be the liaison in this. However, it seems that some other communication went on and it didn't get back to us, and you didn't take an active role. So we're not inept enough to know the legalities of all of it, and I really would like to know your position on it. And if you didn't look at it and you haven't approved it, I would like for that to happen.
No, it was never recirculated back to me for review. My understanding was that was at the commission's direction. The points that I made in my email dated April 29th identified certain sections that were of concern in my regular contract review. I made some suggestions. I provided language to consider revising. In my brief overview of the current MOU that's in your agenda packet, it does not look like, I haven't done a point-by-point comparison of what I raised in my email, but it doesn't look like these changes were made.
So
But I have not done a thorough review.
Commissioner Campbell.
And I'll ask this, and just out of general curiosity, how does something make it to the agenda without going to the proper channels?
I believe this was at the commission's direction, that they did not want me to be reviewing this contract. I made my observations, I put them in writing, and it was actually these.
I don't think that was the direction.
I don't think that was the intent. I think the intent was to have Chief Shore as the contact, but it was certainly with your review and input. I don't think that, maybe we weren't clear, and I'll give it that.
We were very clear.
I think we was pretty
But
clear.
I want to, again, my question is, there are meetings that take place prior to commission meetings. And with reference to my understanding, anything that comes to the agenda is something that is discussed in a departmental meeting. And it's my understanding that it's the intent of all parties to play a part in what is being presented to the commission. And I'm only saying this is because this is something that I'm hearing, and it's becoming a repeat of in nature, and that's something that definitely has to be addressed. And it's not pointed at any specific person, but again, we have to be mindful of process and make sure that we're following process, because again, nothing should come before this commission that is not vetted in a meeting where our city attorney is present.
So if I may?
Go ahead.
in the meeting, the last time we discussed the presentation, the request was made that a commission liaison sit on and discuss this MOU. The decision made was that I be the one to discuss and sit down with the party, with Newtown Museum, to discuss the MOU. In doing so, in review, Director Cutright had an email that contained all of Attorney West's requests to change. When sitting down with Mr. Hill, myself, and Mr. Cutright, we went over all of those items, requests that they would like to be changed, and they were all changed within the MOU. With that direction, that what we believe we got from you, we then in turn put the MOU back in front of you. It was never an intent to not include anyone or to mislead your direction, is what we perceived, and correct me if I'm wrong, Director Cutright, what we perceived the instructions were. And that's what we brought back, that's what we did, and that's what we brought back to you. The changes, again, included in, Commissioner Davis, you asked about facility use, and it's included in Section 5. We asked about the renewal term, and again, I told you that's included in Section 8. We asked about the insurance. It's included in Section 10, and it was increased. And compliance and safety is number 11, and it was discussed as well. There was some things that, again, that wasn't on Attorney West's recommendations that Mayor Hill, in our discussion, agreed that might be beneficial if we changed in benefit of this city. And that was also done. And in then reviewing everything that we had, again, we brought the items back to you. And I'll leave it there.
I want to be clear when I made my statement again, and I appreciate, because we did have an extensive conversation with regards to who would serve as a liaison. However, it just appears to be a disconnect, not with what was presented, but with regards to what should transpire prior to anything coming before us. I don't have a problem with, again, what was presented, but again, when it comes down to process, if there is a meeting that is taking place prior to our meeting, things of this nature should be caught if there are any concerns, and appearing that if there are no concerns, it appears as if what was being brought forward, there is a cohesive agreement, and it appears that it is not at this time, and that's what I want my statement to be surrounded by.
Anybody else?
I concur with Commissioner Campbell.
But, and just one last comment, but whatever is brought before us, if it's to do with an MOU or an agreement, that it has to be finalized by our city attorney. And that's where I'll stop at right there. So I think that was the missing piece.
Go ahead, Mr. Hill.
Let me ask a question, because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. What is it, what legal terminology are you looking for that's not in the agreement, counsel? Because I just want to know, moving forward, what's the legal terminology? Because if it's just the opinion that as to how the city allocates the funding, then that's a commission decision. But I just want to know what legal terminology is not in there, because it may be something that we can hash out and get done right now.
I don't know if this is the time or the place to have this dialogue and this method. At this meeting.
This is the time to know what's
I think the time would be to maybe meet at a later date after this meeting and go through those fine points and figure out exactly where the disconnect is or what the questions are. I just don't think this is the time and the place. And if my fellow commissioners disagree with that, please let me know. Go ahead, Commissioner Barr.
I think we arrived here because initially I think there was some, I guess, understanding that there was no movement. We had things in place. It would take place for a brief moment and pause and hope. So we put some things in place to help move this thing forward, and we thought we were there. So the only piece that I see that was missing is that our city attorney somehow was not involved, well, may have not reviewed the MOU before it came before us, and so I think that's where we kind of had a hiccup.
So,
Go ahead, Commissioner Davis. Or
Go ahead,
we'll go ahead.
I move that we, I want to make sure I use the right terminology. What I'm trying to move is that we move this back to be for the process, and to come back to be completed
So
after
do
review.
we want to
So-
table it for this?
Yes, that's the word. Is that the word? Is that what I need to?
Yes.
I move that we table Resolution 2026-R-107 until the city staff completely vets the MOU and the terms with approval following our standard process before it comes back to the commission.
Second,
And do you want a time certain? I'm just asking. You don't have to, I'm asking.
Table it to the July meeting for a time certain. You can table it to the July meeting for a time certain.
I'll table it until the July meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
The motion is second. Before we take a vote, I want to open, do you have something else, Commissioner?
I have
Go
a
ahead.
comment.
Go ahead, Commissioner Hill.
If we're pushing something back that was pushed to us, what I want to make sure that when it's in the hands of those decision makers that we're pushing it back to, that there is clarity in what we desire. What is the further vetting that we desire to have versus just putting it back?
Okay.
And I just don't want that to be on them to determine what we want to have when we can clearly give direction and they won't be running around in circles. So what does that pushback look like?
So what I intend with this motion is for the MOU to be completed and agreed upon by our attorney, understanding the protections of the city and that. So it's just the process of getting the MOU in place. And what would also be helpful is in the presentation at the last meeting, it was a great presentation. I also think there's an opportunity to provide us a timeline of next steps with this project. I think that would also be helpful. Mr. Hill mentioned some items that will follow this MOU so that we can also make sure we're staying abreast of the timeline, targeted timelines and standard process. That was my understanding, but I'm open to additional information.
Again, I just wanted to know what it looks like, and again, I want to make sure that staff, if there is any additional information or request that you may have or clarification, allow it to be said at this time so that we can make sure that this is
That this will be, in hopes, the final product that returns to us.
correct, Mayor.
So thank you. And I'm going to, at this moment, open, before we take a vote, the floor to any public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment? Ms. Kitchens?
I agree with Ms. Davis on tabling this for a future time. July's fine. I would like to point out that this is not the first time the city attorney has been told to stand down, basically, and then when she doesn't get involved, then she gets complained about. What I would suggest, based on Mr. Campbell's suggestions and some of Ms. Davis's, please, not at this meeting, but please set a policy governing this. Like you all said you want the city attorney involved in everything that involves them. Make it a written policy so that the next 55 times this comes up, all you have to do is, well, the policy said that she's to be involved in any type of contract. Make it a policy, and then you all don't have to discuss it at each meeting. It doesn't keep on coming back and biting you in the butt. Thank you.
I think a job description does that.
That's automatic.
Then you need to put Reagan on the city attorney. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Please just give your name and city time.
I stand before you as the chair of this committee, that advisory committee that you put forth. And we have worked diligently trying to get this project to the point that we are here. Last meeting, you very intentional about allowing Chief Shaw to be our liaison. We did what you said, and you also said bring it back to this meeting. I understand discussion. I totally understand that you have to have the city's best interest at heart. I get it. But what I do not get is that when you piecemeal something to anybody, I don't care what organization it is, when you piecemeal a situation and then we come to you getting ready to deliver something, we get sent back to get work done. I want you to be concise, precise, to whatever it is you need from us, because we're willing to do that. We want to work with the commission, not against it. Now, with the information that we got prior from the attorney, we worked on that with the right heart and dedication to get this work done. Now we're back to the 9th hour, and you're kicking the can down the road again. Of course, I wanted it in order. I wanted it to be sustainable. But what I do not want is that this commission have an advisory commission, put forth and do the work, and we bring it to you, and you look at us as if we have a hidden agenda. That's how we feel. I don't know if that's the intent. We want clarity to do the job that you asked us to do. That's all we're asking. The vetting part is not on us. We did what we were supposed to do. So we're looking to you to do what you're supposed to do for us. Either let it go forward or tell us you're not interested. Don't do a bait and switch on us. Chief Shaw gave us his all. We worked with him. We worked with the stuff we got from your attorney. I get it. But if we have put forth what she wrote and placed it in the position that it is in front of you, now you're saying she should have seen it again. Whatever the policy is, but don't make up a policy in the midst of a negotiation. That's all I'm saying. Does everyone get vetted like this?
Thank you.
I call for question.
I'm sorry, okay.
Is public comment done?
Oh, I was going to just find that out. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
Oh,
Commissioner Campbell.
well, I just want to make a statement that the commission does not give direction. We give direction to the city manager. The city manager manages city staff. What I want to clarify is that the work that needs to be done on the city side, because that's the only people we impact from this commission. But we cannot sign a document with legal ramifications and commitments without our city attorney approval. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to E, adopt resolution 2026 R105, granting a special events permit to Mark Rinneman for the Amerizy Port Wall for the toll ship Amerizy visits Palatka. Mr. Cutright?
Yes. This applicant came in several months ago and spoke with the city manager about bringing a boat here to do some shows. Myself, Public Works Joe, we vetted his need to see if we could do it. We made some changes to the dock for it. We put a 20 amp something to accommodate his need if we did the show. The perimeter is a four series show that he has going starting on June the 24th.
Which-
Hello?
Which act do you want to open?
None. Okay, and it started, the boat would dock here on June the 20th, and then he has several shows that he'll do the 24th, July the 1st, July the 3rd, and then he'll take a break and come back on July the 8th, because we needed the 4th of July, that area to be cleared out for a minute. From Joe's point of view, he said the dock could accommodate his need, so that's why we vetted it, and then we brought it to y'all for y'all approval. He had came in and talked to the previous city manager several times, so that's why we've been working.
Commissioner Davis has questions. Imagine that. My question is, I have a couple of questions. My first question is, you answered about giving access because I know they'll need electricity. The second question I have is concern, which we've spoken about before, Joe, which has nothing to do with this request, but ensuring that there's light getting down to the dock, because we don't currently have lights, do we, on our dock? And I know when I saw the application, there was I believe, a plan set up if there may be chairs on the dock for some of the concerts or people on the dock. Just want to hear about the safety.
So with that in mind, we have been working diligently to put low voltage walking lights down the entire dock. So we're in the process of that right now. We should be done within 2 weeks. It's a low voltage walking light down low. They're very strong, so they can't be kicked off. They're brass, and they put out a good light for safety. So safety is our main concern right off the bat from the public works perspective. And we did give them a dedicated 20 amp outlet out there, so they have power out at the end. So at times of events, we were also considering roping off the rounded area in the back so we can have people not fall off the dock. So we are working on all areas of safety for that member.
Thank you. And then my next question is for Mr. Cutright. July 3rd, I believe there's an event already at the riverfront.
Yes.
Is there coordination between the two parties for that? And I
Yes.
suppose this can kind of be part of that event.
Yes, they
Thank you.
both talked, and we actually had conversation with both of them, and both of them agreed that the footprint for both did not affect the footprint for the event they have, so they could be coexist at the same time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? No? Anybody else have any questions? With that said, I'm going to open the floor for public comment. Is there anybody for public comment on this topic? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do you have a motion?
Yes, move to adopt resolution 2026-R-105.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. On to regular business. You don't want any recess, I'm sure. Chief Straw, interim city manager contract.
The interim city manager contract has been provided to you in the packet. It has been presented to both Ms. Curry as well as the labor attorney. And it is now before you for any questions you may have or any path you would wish to move forward.
Does anybody have any specific questions about the contract?
I don't.
Commissioner Warren?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner?
I make a motion that we accept the interim city manager contract that has been presented to the commission in its entirety.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll open the floor to public comment. Is anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you. On to public hearings, second reading, ordinance 2620-28 for the following parcels of land, 42-10-27-6850-0120-0101, 42-10-27-6850-0110-0100, 42-10-27-6850-0120-0020, 42-10-27-6850-0120-0011, 42-10-27-6850-0120-0010, 2210-10-27-6850-0150, and 320 St. John's Ave and 301 Reed Street, Palatka, Florida.
Motion to approve. This is the second reading.
First reading, nothing has changed since then, and staff still recommends approval of the ordinance.
With that said, any more questions? Any further questions? Okay. Did you say a motion?
I did.
I'm gonna, before the vote. There's a motion. Oh, did we do the motion? We've been doing it. Oh. You made a motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion, second. Is anybody here for public comment on this item?
You know what?
Go. Yes.
I apologize. I am going to, in an abundance of caution, I know I don't need to, I am going to recuse myself from this vote. I am a member of the congregation. Is this the right one? Sorry, I apologize. Thank you. Next item. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. I second the motion.
We have a motion, a second. Is anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? No. Thank you. Second reading, rezone 301, 281, 251, 201, and 111 North Moody Road. Ordinance number 2026-30 for the following properties: 02-10-26-7720-0180-0010, 02-10-26-7720-0010, 02-10-26-7720-0100-0000, 02-10-26-7720-0030-0010, and 02-10-26-7720-0010-0000. Again, second reading.
Yes, it's the second reading. You approve of the first reading without objections. Staff still recommends approval that you adopt the ordinance.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, and do you want to recuse yourself?
I do. My statement is relevant to this item.
Is there anybody here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
Thank you.
On to commissioners' comments. Do we have any comments?
I do.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
I just want to make a brief statement with regards to one of the, excuse me, please, I'm speaking.
1 second, let it quiet down, please.
I'd like to make reference to one of the both of the camps that are being ran by our city departments. We have one through our recreation department, and we have one under our police athletic league. And I've had the pleasure of attending or visiting both of them, and I'm godly proud of what our staff has put on. Also, not only hiring youth within this community through the city of Palatka as interns, but we've also taken in consideration having volunteers of youth of their peers. So we're developing a leadership component on both fronts. Mr. Reno is over at the Recreation Center, and I'm helping facilitate the leadership program at the Camp Higher Ground. But again, I'm just immensely proud of what the city staff has put together, and I just look forward to continuing to growing those respective programs in the years to come. But as of now, if we had to have a plan, Palatka has a plan when it comes down to running a summer camp.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones, do you have anything?
I currently do not.
Okay. Commissioner Borum?
No further comment.
Commissioner Davis? And also just to thank Ms. Hall and whoever else put this together. We have the final product for our annual report for 2025, and it looks wonderful. I don't have any other comments, but do we have a motion to